everybody. How you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by ALLCITY. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me here live in the Xfinity studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. What's going on today, Chuck?
You know,
it is a Monday in which we are, kind of still in this. We're starting to get the news and rumors and stuff. But it is like the Stanley Cup final holding pattern. Sure. There's 30 teams in the league just kind of like, all right, let's go. Let's get this going. Let's get this over with.
It's like the scene from Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Well, we're waiting.
Yeah, like we have seen in the last few years like teams do stuff on off days, but it is kind of Gary Bettman sits there and goes like, guys, can we not? Can you just wait another week?
And as you noted last week, one of the teams that may have just given him the finger and done something anyway is actually in the Cup final.
Yeah, that's the, can they? I feel like this happened in the NBA, like, I don't know, a decade ago. Like, a team made a trade while they were in the final that, like, would affect something that happened at the draft. And it was like, yeah, but it's not, in effect until after the series, obviously. Could they trade for Dylan Larkin right now?
Well, see, here's the problem with that, William. We've been told by Kelly McCrimmon that they can't do anything during the playoffs. He's just so busy. He can't even pick up the phone and give permission for other teams to interview his coach, who is literally doing nothing because he let him go with 8 games left in the season. So how would you possibly expect Kelly McCrimmon to be able to make a trade if he can't even say, yes, you can talk to Bruce Cassidy?
Apparently, it's in Cassidy's, because all of the standard coach contract is like, we relieve you of your duties, you're still under contract, and we have to give you permission to seek a job elsewhere after we bring in another coach. That is very standard. It sounds as if, based on what the commissioner said, he had extra language in there that was basically, you're under contract until it's over, and that's that.
I mean, look,
we basically we won't be giving you permission.
I am not going to come right out and say that Gary Bettman often lies to everyone's face.
Well,
but Gary Bettman often lies to everyone's face. That comment by Bettman saying well, it's in the contract, that very much struck me as Bettman defending the Golden Knights, because Bruce Cassidy has gone on podcasts to be like, yeah, I want to coach. This is ridiculous.
Man, I guess listen, people who reach an elite level in competitive sports, obviously built different than I am. It is my dream. If I got relieved of my duties and had a year making, I don't know, probably $4 million around there, I'd have to assume, to do literally nothing, I can't imagine a better fate. That would be, they won the cup without you. How does that make you feel? I don't care. I'm freaking sailing around the world. I wouldn't sail around the world because, again, that would be work. But
you could just be on a boat while someone else.
Yeah, someone else. I guess if I'm a millionaire, someone else could be doing it.
They could do the sailing.
Yeah, but I'd just be chilling with a drink with an umbrella in it until July 1st, 2027. As soon as the weather changed one place, I'd go to another where the weather was nice. Just whatever. Good for Vegas. Vegas is going to be Vegas. I feel like they're going to do this just to spite everyone for calling them a-holes now. You thought we were ruthless before? Now we'll show you what that is. Yeah, we're not going to let them out. It's very funny.
I don't know what more they could do. They've already kind of reached peak dickhead.
I just think they're definitely not going to allow him to sign anywhere until July 1st, 2027.
Maybe.
That's what I think happens now.
Maybe.
It's very funny to me. Because you had told me a story about how, I thought maybe Tortorella, his contract didn't exist anymore. And then Elliot Friedman reported, oh no, they had to ask the Flyers for permission. So they had to do it and were granted. And now they're
nah, we ain't.
And there is a difference. There is a difference to me between Vegas and Philly. I don't know, we see each other twice a year unless it's in the Cup final. And, that wasn't going to be this year in all likelihood. There is a difference between that and Bruce Cassidy, who won a cup for us, Connor McDavid, them having success is the only thing that's going to keep him there. Maybe I don't want to give him to them. Like, I can see that. But, like, Toronto, who cares? Like, giving the permission to nobody. If you want to keep him out of Edmonton, that's fine. Like, LA, I guess that's in your division too. Like, once it's the Leafs, it's like, how does this affect us?
Well, everything affects the Leafs.
Well, yeah, certainly.
How does this affect the Leafs? It very much affects the Leafs because everything affects the Leafs. And this actually does indeed affect the Leafs. But look, no one's saying that Vegas didn't have, like, the right to say, no, you're under contract. We don't have to give you permission. The entire argument is basically just that, like, it's generally accepted practice. It is a norm in the league that, you know, this is what you do.
Yeah, it's what you do.
Vegas is just like, nah, we ain't doing it.
And
sorry.
it's one of
sorry,
those,
not sorry, really.
It's one of those norms because you're going to be in that position one day.
Yeah.
As they were when they asked for the Flyers' permission and they still went, nah, Evan, we don't care. Yeah. But I find that part of Vegas very entertaining. That is, I think, tremendous because it just makes the league funnier. All right, but let's talk about some things regarding our Philadelphia Flyers, Charlie. The first is Kevin Kerr's put out a piece talking about the possibility of trading for Dylan Larkin and his trade requests and all that. And in there, we saw what the Robert Thomas asking price was. I know we'd heard it was like...
It was a lot.
Hey, man...
Given what we heard it was from other teams.
It was basically like... What we had heard at the time was, hey, it's going to be one of your two guys. Like, it'll be Michkov or Martone. Yeah. But Kevin Kerr has reported, of note, one center that the Flyers don't believe is available anymore is the Blues' Robert Thomas. Although the Flyers checked in on Thomas before the deadline, the ask on the 26-year-old was a non-starter for them. One Flyers source mentioned that in March, the Blues wanted Martone, Nesbitt, and a first-round pick for Thomas, which was completely unreasonable in their view.
And to be clear, because this clip doesn't quite explain, it doesn't quite present the overarching point, which is that the vast majority of the NHL at this point believes that Robert Thomas is no longer even on the market at all.
Yeah.
Like, this is not even a, like, well, the price is too much. They think that most people around the league think the Blues have just basically said, like, yeah, we ain't trading him anymore. But even when they were open to it, the ask was extremely high.
It seems as if it's sort of it's different because, like, you know, he's a 1C in the NHL, but it's sort of the Ristolainen situation where it's like, hey, the price was out there. And as the Flyers decided, and many teams, like, okay, what are you asking from us? And they told him, and they all went, no. And with, like, you know, Alex Steen taking over, his first piece of business is not going to be like, great, we traded our best forward for a bunch of spare parts. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Doug, for the going away present. Like, and so they're just like, screw it, we're not trading him. That makes sense to me. You gauged and said he's more valuable to us here than he is if we trade him.
Well, the one thing, honestly, that jumps out at me at that, which is a nice little bit of confirmation that the hockey world is not as down on this guy as, like, I think some fans are. Like, the fact that they asked for Nesbitt is a little bit reassuring. Because I think there are a lot of fans that have kind of talked themselves into this idea of, like, well, Nesbitt is just trash. What a terrible pick. He has no value. He's not going to be part of anything. Like, if the Blues specifically asked for Nesbitt, clearly other teams around the league don't think he sucks.
And there were, like...
Now, he wasn't the centerpiece of the deal, but,
no.
like, they asked for him. They clearly think he can be good.
And I do think, like, there's a difference once we kind of see, all right, he didn't really take, like, a step forward in terms of offensive production. There's a difference between it being maybe it wasn't good value to use 2 first-round picks on a guy and move up from, you know, 2 picks in the 20s to 13 to get him or whatever, and him sucking.
Yeah.
Like, there is just a difference between, like, value and actual ability of player. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, I know you wanted to get up because you think Nashville and Vancouver were definitely taking him ahead of you. But is he good enough to give up your extra first forward as well? Maybe not. Okay, then reassess how that process goes. But that doesn't mean he's just no good. Like, there's a difference in those two things.
I just think that it serves as a reminder that 6'5" centers who are good defensively, can win faceoffs, and have significant plausible upside, even if that plausible upside, if he reaches it, is probably going to take years for him to get to, they still have value around the league, even if they're not scoring 100 points in their draft plus one season. It's just a nice little reminder that, like, yeah, there are clearly still teams out there that think maybe don't view Nesbitt as like the guy who would be the centerpiece of a deal for a guy like Robert Thomas, but a piece that has enough value to be wanted. So again, doesn't mean he's going to pan out, but it also should give you pause if you are falling into the trap of thinking that he's trash because he didn't have a breakout year in his draft plus one.
Yeah, so I honestly, when I saw that, I did think like, oh, someone wanted him. Cool. That's nice. Maybe it's not just us who think he's good. Maybe there is actual interest in this guy, and everyone does see hey, he's putting up pretty good numbers and he can't skate. And if you have the same evaluation of his skating issues as they do, like, yeah, dude just needs to hit the weight room. Like, he just needs leg day twice a day, and then it'll probably all work out because a 6'5" guy with the right stride and power behind it will actually be okay. Like, so if you see that, that's cool. That was good, but it doesn't seem as if Robert Thomas is one of those guys that they could be going after. Nor does it seem like the centerpiece of this Kevin Kerr's article is going to be available to the Philadelphia Flyers either, Charlie, because Dylan Larkin has a full no-trade clause, as we noted in our show about him whenever it was last week, Thursday or Friday.
Friday.
Okay. And his short list of teams, the Flyers, Kerrs said, the Flyers don't believe that they're on it, and then we got further confirmation. It's, according to Helene St. James of the Detroit Free Press, Larkin's short list is 3 teams, Minnesota, Vegas, or Florida.
So what I'll say about this is that, like, I don't think this is necessarily like the death knell of the possibility of Larkin. I don't think it's likely he's going to be a Flyer. But I also don't think you should take this as like, well, he's never going to be a Flyer. This is Larkin's first list. He very well could open it up further down the road. These are the 3 teams he most wants to play for, and he has a no-trade clause. So why not, when you're in the beginning of this process, pick the 3 teams you'd most want to go to out of all the others? But if it's midway through next season and Detroit is, fumbling around, middling team again, and half his teammates hate him because he wants out and he's made it clear, maybe he opens it up to 7 more teams. And if the Flyers are having a real good season, if they've taken another step forward, maybe he looks at the Flyers and like, ooh, that's intriguing. I'd love to, center Porter Martone and Matvei Michkov because they're both having breakout years. So I don't think this ends the possibility, but it certainly cuts down on the short-term excitement about the possibility.
And this is very much what we talked about when we discussed it on Friday. Like, Minnesota just makes so much sense.
Yes.
Need centers badly. In that division especially, like, that's the Murderer's Row division. Like, even with Winnipeg not in it, there's still Dallas and Colorado who are both awesome. You need to figure out if you're going to get to the Western Conference Final, Cup Final, how do you get through those teams? Well, you probably need a center to like go with your wingers.
And Joel Eriksson Ek, good player.
Once you move him down to 2C, that's real nice.
Then you're feeling real good about him.
Once Ryan Hartman isn't playing 20 minutes for you, you probably feel real good about Ryan Hartman. Like, it's just like he's not a 1C. What do we? He's really, this guy's playing with Kirill Kaprizov is what we're doing.
Yep.
Like, that's kind of crazy. But that just makes sense. Obviously, Bill Guerin, GM of the gold medal winning Team USA team as well. So, like, it all just kind of makes sense.
And you also, one thing that I'm certainly not the first person to note this, but it is noteworthy, each of those 3 teams has at least one guy on the team who also played with Dylan Larkin on the gold medal winning Team USA. You've got Matthew Tkachuk in Florida. You've got Quinn Hughes in Minnesota. You've got Jack Eichel in Vegas.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if that's a contributing factor as well. He wants to play with his boys.
Everybody said that when that flight got diverted and they just stopped in Florida, it was now a recruiting trip. It's like, all right, we're celebrating, we're all hanging out. And it was Matthew Tkachuk just being like, boys, you don't know how nice it is playing in Florida, And like Vegas, same thing. Minnesota, Quinn Hughes is there. Like, it just all kind of makes sense. So that's that end of it. It does kind of feel, as much as like Dylan Larkin would improve this team, to me, there is a thing of like, Robert Thomas, 26, makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Larkin, 30, like his window is right now. It's not 3 years from now when these guys are in their prime. It's like, I'm trying to be a key contributor on a Stanley Cup contending team. That's immediate. And I don't think the Flyers, even with the addition of Dylan Larkin, are that.
I also think from the Flyers' perspective, the way I look at it in terms of the ideal fit, if you're going to get that top six center, is that if I'm going to get, I'm not saying that the Flyers should not check in on Dylan Larkin, should not maybe even put together an offer. Hey, put together an offer and put it on the table. And if you come to an agreement with Yzerman, then ask him to waive his no trade. Maybe he rethinks it. I'm not saying don't do it. What I am saying is that if I'm going to trade for a non-elite center option, who is not a superstar, but maybe just a lowercase s star, or maybe not even a star at all, but just like a clear-cut 1C.
Nice player, yeah.
I'd rather that guy be like younger than 30. Like Robert Thomas to me fits. Now, doesn't seem like it's likely at this point, but he's a little on the younger side. So yeah, he's not a superstar, level 1C, but you've got a pretty long runway before you have to worry about him declining. If I'm going to go for a guy who's a little bit past his age-related prime, like he better be really, really good, which is why I'm all on board with Austin Matthews. Like, yes, Austin Matthews is in that Larkin age range, but Austin Matthews has the ceiling of being one of the three best players in hockey. Yeah. So I'll take the risk. But Larkin is like, and I made this point on Friday, Larkin is like Matthews without the ceiling of being Austin Matthews.
It's like what Matthews with a separated shoulder is.
Right.
Like that's what we're looking at.
Not necessarily in terms of style, but in terms of impact.
No,
absolutely.
just like, when he's hurt, this is basically what Larkin brings you. Yeah, 100%. And just finally to wrap this up from Detroit's standpoint, like, how can they afford to take a step? Like, they need right now players, don't they?
You would think,
like,
right?
I just can't imagine Steve Yzerman. I know he's franchise legend, and it seems like he's got the backing of ownership, at least for now, but they still haven't broken the playoff drought.
Yeah. That's why he wants to leave.
And now you're going to move the 1C for futures? Like, I just don't know what the Flyers could do. Like, I saw one rumor, and I don't know how, like, real it was because I couldn't find, like, a real source for it. It was just like, oh, maybe it's this. It was like, this is a rumor. It was like, or is it just a guy saying something?
It's just somebody spitballing.
But it was like Tippett, Risto, and a first. And I'm like, are those? Is that nearly enough?
And also, like Detroit had every chance to get Risto at the deadline, and we're like, nah, we're good with Justin Falk instead. So I don't think Ristolainen is moving the needle for Yzerman in particular.
I don't know.
I mean, Tippett's intriguing for anybody. Every team in the league probably likes Owen Tippett to a degree. I would assume they would want more.
It's just like, is that enough for them to, like, does that make them better than they are? I don't think so, but whatever.
Like even if we're talking in these types of things, like I would think that if you are like, the idea of Ristolainen being a part of this deal makes zero sense to me because Detroit didn't want him at the deadline. Like, I would think you would be offering...
Maybe he was like, I was wrong.
You would be offering up, like, Noah Cates.
Yeah.
Like, because they would want some kind of center back, right? And then, maybe it's Tippett, Cates, and, like, one of your best prospects who isn't Porter Martone. And that at least has them, like, not hang up.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to get better offers elsewhere. And again, there's no guarantee that Larkin would waive his no trade, given the fact that he basically said, I'm only waiving it for 3 teams, and the Flyers ain't one of them.
Yeah, we'll see if any of those 3 teams can actually swing the deal for it. I just can't figure out how Florida and Vegas have the cap space to do stuff still.
Vegas always has the cap space to do
how?
Anything. They take somebody outside and shoot them, and then suddenly they have cap space. I don't know.
Coming up on the other side, we're going to talk about centers that are on the Flyers roster. I've been trying to get this for like 4 shows. We're finally going to do it. It is time for the center grades after this quick 2-minute break. Thank you for being part of the PHLY community. We're always looking to improve our shows and better understand how you watch, listen, and what you value most. So we want to hear from you. That's why we've launched a brand new quick survey. Your feedback helps us shape the content you love and make it even better. It only takes a few minutes, but it makes a huge impact on what we do and how we do it. Obviously, if you're a follower of PHLY Flyers, then you're someone with great taste like me and impeccable judgment, just like Charlie. Don't you wish the Flyers front office was open to this kind of feedback? I know I do. Take a moment and scan the QR code on the screen or head over to allphly.com/poll and let your voice be heard. Again, that's allphly.com/POLL. Every respondent has a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. That's right, a $100 Amazon gift card. 3 minutes of your time could get you $100. Thank you for being part of our audience and helping us grow. Introducing your new craving, Wawa now has tacos. Wawa is expanding its freshly prepared food lineup with new seasoned beef tacos available for a limited time, and they're built to deliver bold, craveable flavor in every bite. We're talking warm, soft tortillas filled with Wawa's savory, juicy, bold seasoned beef, plus fresh toppings that you can customize your way. You've got options too. Choose from seasoned beef, chicken, steak, or black beans. Add shredded cheddar cheese. Pick up to 2 spreads like barbecue, ranch, buffalo, and finish it off with a fresh topping like shredded lettuce, salsa, and more. It's all packed into a 6-inch flour tortilla, making it the perfect handheld on-the-go option. And the seasoned beef doesn't just stop at tacos. It's available across the full lineup, including burritos, bowls, quesadillas, and so much more. But do not wait. This lineup is only here for a limited time while supplies last. Welcome back to PHLY Flyers, presented by Ashley. It is time to talk grades for this team's centers, and I made a couple of decisions about how we would do this, Charlie. First, Trevor Zegras, I am listing as a center.
I like that.
It is his quote-unquote natural position, and he finished the year there, and I think finished pretty well.
He ended the season as a center, even ended the playoffs. He had that brief year where they moved him back to wing, but then he ended the playoffs at center. Now, the Noah Cates injury played a role in that, to be sure, but he did end the playoffs as a center, and now the door is very much open for him to be viewed as a long-term center for this team, so I think that was the right call. While
Denver Barkey did end the season as a center, and maybe they really think they can do it, it's possible. Listen, Logan Stankoven's doing it, and he's doing it for a team that's in the Stanley Cup final. I am viewing Barkey as a winger. We'll get to him like Thursday or Friday when we do winger grades. But let's start with Trevor Zegras, Charlie. He turned 25 in March. He had a career-high 26 goals and 41 assists, 67 points in 81 games. That was also a career-high 34.1% in the faceoff circle. That was actually a career low for him in faceoffs.
That's a little bit of a rough look. Everything else is real good. That's a little bit of a rough look. For not just Zegras, for everyone involved. Because everyone knew that was like the big thing. He's got to get better faceoffs, and he got worse.
He somehow got worse. You really can break his season down into sections for me. First 41 games. 41 points, 17 goals, 24 assists. He is killing it. Point-a-game player in the first half of the season with the Philadelphia Flyers. Then after that Ducks game, which was like his Stanley Cup, essentially.
Sure.
8 points in the next 16 games heading into the Olympics. It did not go great for him production-wise. It, of course, did not go great for the team from game 42 until the Olympics. So, and he was a part of that. Yeah. And then he comes back strong, 18 points in 24 games. Post-Olympics in the playoffs, he leads them in scoring with 6 points. 2 goals, is tied with Sanheim, Martone, Drysdale, and Bump for the team lead. I think that kind of just speaks to how little this team scored after Game 3 of the Penguins series. Interesting, 44% faceoffs in the playoffs. He was 33 for 75. He got better. He was doing it more regularly. He had been doing it regularly for a little while at this point, so maybe that's something to take into account. Like, hey, when play gets hard and it's all about battles, he improved by 10% in the faceoff circle. Granted, it's 10 games, but hey, looking for any sort of positive here with that one, like, glaring thing that might keep him out of the long-term center position. It was manageably bad in the playoffs. It was still bad. Yeah, 44 is not good. Yeah. But it's up 10% from his regular season total.
Sure.
And, like, a couple more wins and you're at 48, 49%. And guess what? That's totally acceptable for me if you are doing everything else well.
Yes. So I want to go into the advanced metrics here because I think, like, best scoring season of his career, absolutely. Trevor Zegras rebounded offensively. He is back to being a legitimate top 6, if not borderline top line caliber offensive player. Would be great to get the power play going, but like, while Zegras deserves some blame for that, a lot of that is bigger issues beyond just Trevor Zegras. His offense is very good. He is a very dangerous player. The Flyers should sign him to a big contract this summer. Keep him. He is good. But he's always been really good from a skill point production standpoint, at least until he had those couple years where he just clearly fell out of favor in Anaheim. We always knew he had that ability. The issue with him has long been his underlying play, his defensive play, and his ability to help his team not just score goals, but also control play. And this year was really the first year. Now, there's one exception, but it was a season where he played like 30 games, so that could have just been some noise. This year, Trevor Zegras didn't merely grade out not bad at even strength, if you're talking about play driving ability. He graded out legitimately really good. Now, here is the chart. So we're looking at this like dating back to his first full season, 21-22. He graded out 38th percentile in the league among forwards in terms of overall expected goal impact. The following year, 2022-2023, 11th percentile among NHL forwards. Then he had that 30-game year. He was in the 80th percentile. Okay, that's better. Then final year in Anaheim, he drops back down to the 10th percentile. This year, and remember, he spent near like over a third, not quite half of the season playing center.
Yeah.
The more difficult position in terms of all-around responsibilities. 96th percentile in terms of expected goal impact. And here was the big difference. Like, you look at these offensive impacts, his percentile ranks, he was never below 50. 63rd percentile, 56th percentile, 85th percentile, 68th percentile. He was always a good offensive impact player. And that lines up with the eye test. You watch Trevor Zegras play, yeah. Even in Anaheim, even his bad years, he could still make plays. He was still trying Michigans. He was still doing cool things. He was still driving offensive play. Defensively, though, 17th percentile in his first year. Third percentile
Third
in his
and second
year.
in there.
And then his final year in Anaheim, 2nd percentile defensive impact. This past season, 78th percentile. He was legitimately good in terms of grading out defensively this past season, and he spent a not insignificant portion of the year at center.
From legitimately not playing defense to like well above average. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's a pretty good jump.
And I looked at when I did a breakdown of this at the end of the season. I think I did it with like 2 or 3 games left in the year. I did a break. I don't have this chart ready for you, but if you want to see it, go to allphly.com and read my article that I wrote on Trevor Zegras on April 9th. I looked to see if like, oh, well, maybe at center he was just like going crazy offensively and the defensive numbers got worse.
Yeah.
No. In fact, he graded out better defensively at center than he did when he was at wing. The Flyers allowed 2.15 expected goals per 60 with him at center. When Zegras was at wing, they allowed 2.68. The Flyers were better defensively with him playing the middle than they were with him at wing. He was legitimately good at center. He was legitimately good defensively. Full stop, no caveats.
And I think that makes sense to me because, like, while you look at him and like the overall idea of what a winger's responsibility is, it's like, well, yeah, you're up at the point and you just like, you know, get an outlet pass. But you have to like be physical along the boards there. Like when you are working the breakout and then trying to maybe get that puck back to the center.
You got pinching defensemen coming down along the boards.
You're getting hit. You're getting hit every time. To me, like defensively, what's his best ad attribute just as a player? It's his stick. Well, stick in the lane, interception, tip a pass, whatever. He can probably do that because he's got excellent hand-eye. And then he seemed to be like a really good puck handler exiting the zone. And when you're getting that breakout pass, like that's something he can do to get you through the neutral zone. Like all that makes sense to me just from a like eye test, what does he do well standpoint. And just looking at the scoring season he had, looking at even there's the drop in the second half production-wise, and I do think we have to take that into account, but being the team's leading scorer in the playoffs also, like, All right. I have to grade him pretty high. I'm thinking like a B+ for Zegras, simply because like he was on that A+ trajectory, and then there is the production drop.
Yeah, I'm giving him an A-.
Okay.
I can't give him a full-fledged A. I can't put him on the level of Sanheim and Vladar, who I think are the only two guys I give unqualified A's to. But the fact that, number one, he was joining a new team and he hit the ground running, showed that the offense hadn't disappeared, he hadn't been ruined by Anaheim. But more importantly, in my mind, he has never been better as a two-way player. And look, when I say two-way player, I don't mean that he's going to be competing for Selkes anytime soon. That's not Trevor Zegras' game. But the numbers are the numbers. The Flyers graded out pretty well defensively with Trevor Zegras on the ice, and that didn't just not get worse when he got moved to center. It got better. The one thing that did get worse, measurably got worse, and I talked about this a few months ago, I guess, like it would have been April when I did this article. The one thing that did get worse when he got moved to center is he was having more trouble scoring goals.
Yeah.
He became more of a pure assist guy. The goal numbers kind of fell off a cliff, and that makes some sense. You know, he's starting deeper in the defensive zone. He's got to go all the way up. He's not driving the play up ice as much when he's center. He's helping them
pushing it from the back
get
through.
out of the zone rather than being the guy who's blasting through the middle of the ice, and it's not necessarily like leading the rush as much. If he can get better at that, and if these defensive improvements hold, I see no reason why he can't be at the very least a really good second line center. I really like just looking at these numbers. I'm sorry if you're in the chat and you're yelling, how can you say he's a good center? He was a good center. If you didn't see that, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, face-offs.
You're just blinded by he's bad at face-offs.
Face-offs, which like I think Carolina is like, which is crazy to me because Rod Brendamore's their coach. But aren't they like one of the worst face-off teams in the league?
Are they?
I believe they are.
I mean, Stankoven wasn't good at face-offs.
Yeah. But regardless, there are some things
Stahl, who's very
There
good.
are some things before the break I just want to get into with Zegras and how we graded him. I give him a B+, you give him a B-. I give him a B+, you give him an A-.
Yeah.
I know that you just hate the shootout, as do most people. I enjoy it. And the Flyers won 10 shootouts this year. That's 3 more than they ever had in franchise history. Their 7-14 win percentage in shootouts, second best they've ever done because they went 3-1 in 2018-19. So, like, they had 4, But this is the best shootout season they've ever had, basically, by far. He goes 7 for 13 in shootouts. No one had ever scored more than 5 shootout goals for this team in a season. Do you give him a little bit of a grade boost for that? Because while, like, the shootout is basically a coin flip and all that, like, he provided true value in it and helped the Flyers get into the playoffs. They're 10-3 in shootouts.
Yeah, I absolutely give him a little bit of a grade boost for it. And look, you know me. I don't like the shootout.
I know. Most people don't.
I would rather them go back to just letting games end in ties. I'm totally fine with that. But it is undeniable that one of the reasons why the Flyers made the playoffs is because of their prowess in shootouts. And Zegras has been good at it for long enough, over a large enough sample size, that I am confident that it was not a fluke. This is something that he is actually true talent, really, really good at.
Yeah.
And he provided the Flyers an undeniable boost and helped them pick up a few extra points. And they were battling for a playoff spot until game 81.
Yeah.
If they lose 3 more shootouts, do they make the playoffs? Probably not.
Probably not. And that's that is part of the value he brings. Now, yes, that does go away in the playoffs. It's like, okay, well, part of his value isn't a part of the game in the postseason, but you still got to get to the postseason, and he helped him do that. The fall off in production second half and the goal scoring, I do think, like, as you were explaining, like, it makes sense. And, like, when he got here and being asked about playing center and why he's comfortable there, it was from a distribution standpoint.
Yeah,
He's like, I like to be in the middle of the ice and be able to go either way with the puck. Like, see more in front of me, not just be on one side or the other like you are on wing, and then distribute from there. And that really accounts for a lot of the fall off in his production.
I think he legitimately struggled post Anaheim game pre-Olympics, and that had little to do with because he wasn't playing.
He's still playing wing.
He was still playing wing during most of that.
Yeah.
The very end is when they moved him to center the last couple games before. But I think that stretch is probably, if you're going to ding him for legitimately struggling at any point in the season, that stretch. I also I'd heard some rumblings. He was banged up a little bit during that run. But again, like, they needed more from him. They didn't get it.
Yeah. And while I can, like, part of me is like, all right, I look at his production, I look at what the team did and think, all right, well, everyone sucked at that time period. As one of the best players and soon to be one of the highest paid players on the team, it's your job to get them through that, and he didn't do enough of that at that time, so I ding him a little bit for that. And another thing, the power play got, I want to say 0% better. It got technically 0.7% better.
Technically better.
But the power play remained terrible. 15.7%, 37 for 235. Last year without him, 15%, 32 for 214. I just kind of figured he'd be worth more than a 0.7% boost. Now, maybe it's just so structurally bad and nobody on this team has ever been part of a successful power play before, and they're just missing the necessary pieces, because as nice as it is to have, like, let's say even with Michkov at the height of his powers and we have these two really good flank guys. Yes, that's necessary, but you don't have a point, a bump, or a net front.
Right.
And those are really important. Maybe nobody, like maybe Claude Giroux in his prime makes this thing no better than it was, but I thought he'd be more than a 0.7% boost.
I did too. And again, I don't want to absolve Trevor Zegras, because there surely were more plays that he could have made. Rick Tocchet talked a lot about it in the in the playoffs, where he said, like, there are tons of times where we'll go back and look at tape and we'll point out, like, you make this one pass, that's a slam dunk goal, and you just missed it. And
yeah.
Was it Trevor Zegras every time? I'm sure it wasn't. But was it Trevor Zegras sometimes, given how much he has the puck on the power play? Probably was. He probably could have made more plays on the power play.
Who even has the puck on their stick as much as him on the power play?
Yeah.
I doubt it was probably him quite a bit.
But I also think that there are significantly deeper structural issues with the power play that go far beyond Trevor Zegras missed on 3 plays that could have been goals.
All right. On the other side, we're going to get to centers Sean Couturier, Christian Dvorak, Noah Cates, and more after this quick 2-minute break. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together. Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And Wi-Fi that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's already online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part, there's no annual contracts and no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is always included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply, and as always, let's go Flyers. The Birds are heading to Nashville, and you already know what that means. Honky tonks, live music, and Eagles fans taking over Broadway all weekend long. Philly Sports Trips brought hundreds of Philly fans to Music City in 2018, and they're ready to do it even bigger this season. From flights and hotels to game tickets and exclusive fan events, everything is taken care of for you. Plus, you'll experience the weekend alongside former Eagles David Akers, Hollis Thomas, and Eagles insider Dave Spadaro with special appearances and exclusive events you won't get anywhere else. This is more than just an away game. It is the ultimate fan experience. So lock in your spot today at phillysportstrips.com. That's phillysportstrips.com. Let's take over Music City. Let's take down the Titans. Go Birds, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly. Welcome back to PHLY Flyers. We are grading the centers here on this Monday afternoon. And what's up, Bryn? Today.
Before we move on,
yes.
You're getting chewed out by Brenna here.
I see Brenna. Oh yeah, she's still here. Congratulations, Brenna, yes. on this weekend. Really happy to see you in the comments. Except, no, enjoy your day off. What are you doing?
You're on vacation. Enjoy it.
Get out of here. Go enjoy yourself. You're off.
But William,
you really want to listen to me on your day off?
You are being shamed for not coming. to the party.
There was a car issue, Brenna. We will discuss it when you get back. We have a gift for you. We have a gift, and that's the reason you have parties, right? It's to have a gift. But congratulations, and we are so happy for you, and thanks for dropping by today. I am acknowledging you. I am addressing you. Yeah, this is what I get for not texting you when Ava said text Brenna. This is always just listen to your wife.
Always.
Which is honestly the best advice I can give you, Bren.
There we go.
All right. Sean Couturier turned 33 in December, finishes the season with 36 points in 78 games, 54.2% faceoffs, which is like much worse than usual, but I'll get into the splits a little bit later because in the playoffs he won like 70%.
Yeah, he went bonkers.
So on his birthday, December 7th, Sean Couturier scores his 5th goal of the season. And then he went 31 games without a goal, had 10 assists in that time, comes back, has 7 goals in the final 21 games, 1 goal, 3 assists in 10 playoff games, where he won 67% of the faceoffs. And it's so funny to me. We talk about like him accepting the fourth line role. And like, yes, that was his regular line. His regular shift was on the fourth line with Luke Glendening. He played 17 and a half minutes in the playoffs, though. Like, pre and post Olympics, his time on ice went down a minute 14. Like, he really didn't play any less on average.
It was just the role.
It was just a different role for him, and it worked really well, as you can see, like, with the production changed. How do we grade Sean Couturier's season as a whole, though, Charlie? Obviously, the production takes a dip, 36 points in 78 games. He just really didn't look like himself to me for a major part of the season, but then did rebound considerably, especially in the playoffs. Once Luke Glendening joins this team, you put him and Coots together, and hey, we have 4 lines that function. Wow, this looks like a real team. And lo and behold, it was. Like, they were pretty decent down the stretch and into the playoffs. How do we grade, like, how do we give an overall assessment to Coots, who, like, I don't know, he was fine, and then he was bad, and then he was pretty good again?
It's tough because it really, I think, just comes down to what degree do you weigh the playoffs. Because if you're giving...
He's their best forward in the playoffs.
If you're giving him a grade on the regular season, like, I am an analytics guy, so I am going to be more favorable to what he did in the regular season because his underlying numbers, he was still drive and play. He was still, creating favorable opportunities for his line. The Flyers are still outchancing the opposition. But even me, like, I can't give him any higher than a C for the regular. Even someone who is like, yeah, I was backing him all season because the other underlying numbers were great. Like, you can't go 30 games without a goal. You can't.
And that's the thing is,
especially when you're in a top 6 role, you can't.
The underlying numbers, to me, like, I do, obviously, I mean, like, I've been working with Charlie long enough to realize, the play driving is quite important.
It does help.
But if you're driving play and literally never score, it does not matter. That just means you're killing time.
Yeah.
Like, you were out there, like, you're basically in a fourth line. Most fourth lines are out there to kill time for the other guys to get a rest in this league. And he wasn't in a fourth line role at the time, but that's basically what he's doing. If in a 31 game stretch you have no goals and 10 assists, playing over 17 minutes a game in that time.
Yeah.
Like,
it's real bad.
It's really difficult. C, I think, is fair. Like, he was like 36 points overall in 78 games. Like, I want him more in the 40-45 range. C seems fair.
I think I go C+, but I'm giving him a boost because of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can go any higher than a C+, because look, like, we can praise Sean Couturier for being willing to accept the role, for then having the great playoffs and whatnot. But part of the story of the season remains he was playing poorly enough to get that role demotion. That can't be removed from the story. It's an integral part of telling the story. And if you played that poorly, that you were You forced your coach to rethink your entire role and forced everyone in the organization to like contend with the possibility of like, this could be a total disaster because Sean Couturier may not be willing to accept that he's a fourth liner now. Like, that's not good, even though once it happened, it worked out great. Like, it's still bad that it got to that point.
Man, that's it. Oh, man, that's fair. Like, the role change happens because it needed to, and that is part of it too. I think C is as generous as I'm willing to go. I think I can just go flat C and feel okay with it. All right, let's get Noah Cates in, Charlie. He turned 27 in February. He had career highs in goals, assists, and points. 18 goals, 29 assists for 47 points in 82 games. Played over 16 minutes per game. 45.3% face-offs. I guess he's shown some improvements, 44.6 and 44.5 in the previous 2 seasons. But he just is getting, like, for the type of guy he is, like, you would just think he'd get good at this at some point, and now it's like 3 years in a row, basically flat in terms of face-off percentage. I don't understand why he can't
get good at it.
Yeah.
Because he works so hard. Like, he's such a diligent guy. He's a details guy. He's always spending extra time on the ice. He's always putting extra work in. I'm sure during the summers, he's working on faceoffs. It shocks me that he hasn't been able to figure it out.
He has 1 goal and 3 assists in 8 playoff games. He missed games 3 and 4 against the Hurricanes. He signed for 3 more years at $4 million annually. Noah Cates, Chuck, what kind of season did Noah Cates have in your mind?
I think it was a good year. I think he is solidly in the B range for me.
It's so funny to me because like he also went through like a Sean Couturier light, and it's funny because he's like, you know, Sean Couturier light. He also went through like a stretch where his production absolutely went to 0.
Yeah, that's fair.
Basically.
Well, he struggled. In the beginning, he was okay without Forrester.
Yeah.
And then it just tanked for a while.
My thing about Noah Cates has always been, you shouldn't notice a Noah Cates cold streak. That's actually an indictment of your top 6.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Like, I should not know if Noah Cates goes 17 games without a goal. I mean, like, we cover every game. I should know.
Right. Yeah.
But, like, we, as Flyers fans, should be like, oh, that's weird. He hasn't scored in 17? I would have said, like, 10, you know? Yeah. Like, it shouldn't be a big deal when he doesn't score because your top 6 should be taking care of that. And then it's like, oh, we've been on a little offensive run lately as a team. And you go, oh, because Cates is scoring this week. Right. You know, but because they don't have like a true prime age top 6,
they don't have elite guys driving the bus at the top of the line.
You do notice it, and still, at the end of the year, career highs and everything for Cates. Maybe this is more a question about like Michkov's grade, Charlie, when we talk about wingers later this week. But like we've mentioned, okay, Michkov's production dip. Maybe part of that he's playing with Noah Cates. Noah Cates is a defensive-minded player.
Sure.
Do we give Michkov any credit for Cates' success as setting career high, like 9 or 10 more points than he's ever had in his career?
Yeah. I think you have to. I mean, Michkov is a supremely talented offensive player. Obviously, not a perfect player at this stage of his career. Certainly not this past year, but he can create plays that most other players can't. He can think of plays that most other players can't. And frankly, the numbers back it up if you really dive in, but they tell, honestly, the story that makes sense based on our view of both the players. So with Matvei Michkov, Noah Cates had 6 goals and 15 points. That is a 2.14 points per 60 rate at 5-on-5. That is like first line-ish.
Yeah.
That is that level of production. Without Matvei Michkov, Noah Cates had 5 goals and 14 points for a 1.53 points per 60. That's still fine, but that's more like middle 6, which is probably what Noah Cates is. He is a middle 6 forward who got boosted to be producing at the rate of a sort of first liner when he was on a line with Michkov. So yes, Michkov did give him a boost. I think everyone can agree that he playing on a line with Matvei Michkov is probably going to score a little bit. However, and this is something to point out as well, the goal differential, like overall goal differential, was better for Cates when he was away from Michkov as opposed to when he was with him. Now, still good. With Michkov, 20 goals for the Flyers, 16 for the opposition. That's above 50%. That's still good. Away from Michkov, Cates on the ice, 19 goals for the Flyers, 11 goals again. So they were a better defensive team with Cates on the ice without Michkov. They had a slightly better overall differential, which again makes sense. You're giving up some defense when you have Michkov on the ice, but you are picking up some offense, and that's exactly what happened. So if you're saying the career year in terms of points, absolutely. Playing with Michkov helped, but Cates probably had to do a little bit more heavy lifting defensively to cover for Michkov when he was on the ice with him too.
I guess I'm going to give Cates a B, maybe just a flat B.
I think I'm giving him a flat B too.
A flat B, like he didn't have the same, especially with Mish, like quality of competition that he typically does because, why would a coach do that? That seems foolish. But like he still finishes 11th in Selke voting. He has the career year in terms of raw offensive production. Had a little blip in there where he didn't score. I think a flat B is fair.
I could be swayed for a B+. All
right.
But I'm fine with a flat B.
On the other side, we will finish out the center grades and get to all your super chats. We just have to take our final break. Parks Casino is my casino of choice. Parks is a great place for a night of headline entertainment and award-winning dining. Make the night complete and stay at the new beautiful Parks View Hotel, which is just steps away from Parks Casino and offers shuttle service. And just announced, comedian Ben Bankus on August 22nd and magician Michael Carbonaro on September 19th. And tickets are still available for these headliners at Parks Casino right now. The Long Island medium Teresa Caputo on June 6th, and on Saturday, June 20th, All McCartney Live, a tribute to Sir Paul McCartney. They've got George Thorogood and the Destroyers on August 28th, and Sebastian Bach with special guest Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses on October 23rd. Go to parkscasino.com to buy tickets right now. You must be 21 years of age or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. What's up, everybody? It's Bill from PHLY. I want to know, do you have heat and humidity sneaking into your home? Is your AC not cranking like it should? Well, you don't have to worry. Ace Hardware Home Services has got you covered. From AC repairs to water heaters, plumbing, and electrical, their trusted local pros bring the same helpful service you know from Ace right to your home. I've had some problems with my air conditioner, and you know who I called? I had Ace Hardware come to my home, and let me tell you, they are the real deal. Whether it's a quick fix or a bigger summer project, they've got the tools, the know-how, and the people to get it done right. Got that leaky faucet you've been ignoring, or your appliances are acting up? Ace Hardware Home Services, bringing helpful to your home. Visit AceHardwareHomeservices.com to get started on your next project today. Don't let summer beat you. Call Ace. And of course, let's go Flyers. Welcome back to PHLY Flyers, presented by Ashley. We're finishing up the center grades with Christian Dvorak. Before we move on to a couple guys we can probably fly past Chuck. He turned 30 in February. He had 18 goals and 33 assists, 51 points in 80 games, which crushes his previous career high. 18 goals tied a career high. Played 18 and a half minutes a game, almost 55% in faceoffs. Signed a 5-year, $5.15 million average annual value contract extension on January 5th. Had no goals and 4 assists in 10 playoff games. He had 3 assists in the first 4 playoff games, then didn't record another point until Game 4 against the Canes.
Worth remembering, though, he was playing through a fractured rib and a separated shoulder.
And then, as it turns out, he was very injured.
Very injured.
So that probably explains all that, Charlie. But I think really good season for Christian Dvorak as a whole. Do you think the production is boosted a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
By playing with Trevor Zegras. That absolutely helped him, and just playing in a higher role, like 18 and a half minutes, new career high for average time on ice for him. But 51 points for a middle six center, that is acceptable. And not to mention, like, good in the faceoffs, did a lot of other stuff for you, helped bring Zegras along as a center, if we want to give him credit for that, playing in that hybrid role together. Fine season. Probably give him like a B-, but the question about Dvorak is how you feel about the deal at this point, Charlie. I feel as if maybe they could have waited a little longer to get that thing signed. But that said, I can get, if you're Danny Briere, like if you don't have him signed to that deal, maybe you're thinking, like, okay, you signed it on January 5th. That's probably when the trade deadline talks start to occur. You want to have your plan solidified. If he's not signed to an extension, you're probably saying, yeah, you are picking up the phone when guys call. If he's signed, everyone's like, all right, they're not, this is not a player we're going to target. So maybe that makes a little bit of sense. I think I would have waited a little longer to offer him that 5-year deal. The production does dip a little after he's not playing with Zegras. Not as much as I thought.
No, he was still producing.
He was still pretty
Not
good.
as much, but he was still producing.
The goals, and like again, at the end, like he doesn't score in the playoffs, and he's like, very injured. Makes sense. But how do we feel about this contract now that it's been a few months?
I mean, my general view of the contract from the jump was I would have preferred to give a little bit more in terms of cap hit to get the years down. It's pretty clear the way the Flyers are looking at it is that we have him for basically 3 years with with a lot of trade protection, and then the trade protection disappears, and that's when we would hope that some of our young centers are ready, and then maybe we can trade him and then get actual value back for him while also clearing up a spot. It's pretty clear like that's the thought process. Now, the risk is, what if he falls off a cliff? What if this was just kind of a one-year fluke, and then you're stuck with an albatross on your deal? They're just going to have to cross their fingers and hope that Dvorak continues to play well. The thing that has changed for me, though, since they signed the deal and makes me, I wouldn't quite say I am like, yeah, great deal, Danny, but I am definitely more understanding of why he felt like he had to do it. You look at the deals for centers that were signed since January, since that deal was locked into place, and it does give you a little bit of sticker shock of like, oh, so that's what the center market is. So since then, we've had 4 centers who have been signed, who I was able to find. Charlie Coyle, Nick Schmaltz, John Gabriel Pageau, Ryan Poehling. Ryan Poehling was the first. This was on March 5th. 5 years, $15 million. 4 years, $15 million. So one fewer year, 1.5 mil less AAV for a guy who was the Flyers' 4th-line center last season.
And while he had a real nice year for Anaheim, and you go to NHL Edge, he had like one of the best max speeds, one of the most
really
bursts.
fast.
He's really fast. The thing is, he had career highs, not in goals, but in basically everything. Points, like 36 points, though. And I not blasted, but like, are we really paying Dvorak more when his career high is like 38 points that he blew by this year?
Right.
He set a career high at 36, did Poehling. Yeah. Like, just in terms of raw production and overall ceiling, he's a little younger, but he's not as good putting points on the board.
I think seeing the Poehling deal, that was like the first one that popped up. It's like, oh, wow, if Ryan Poehling is getting nearly $4 million a year, low fives, doesn't seem that bad. John Gabriel Pageau gets 3 years, $4.85 million AAV. Now, 2 fewer years, so I would have loved that deal for Dvorak. John Gabriel Pageau is also 3 years older than Christian Dvorak, so it's like, ooh, you're giving a 33-year-old a $5 million cap hit, and he's like a decent 3C. Okay, another point in favor of Danny. Nick Schmaltz gets 8 years, $8 million a year. Okay, he's like point-per-game guy, different tier. The big one, though, that Charlie Coyle deal.
Yeah.
Charlie Coyle gets 6 years, $6 million a year, signs that on May 12th. He's 34. If that was what was behind door number 2, I'll take Dvorak's deal over that in a heartbeat.
And like even the Schmaltz deal, like he's a 60-point guy until this year.
Right.
And contract year, he blows away his career high in goals by 10 and career high in points by 11, it looks like. Perhaps this is just what the center market is because everyone needs them. There's none available.
And the cap just continues
and the
to
cap is
skyrocket,
ballooning.
so everything is more expensive. I believe now we should probably hit.
Oh, and with that, we got to go to overtime. Go to allphly.com to finish watching today's show.
But it hasn't made me love the deal, but when part of Briere's justification, literally as the deal was signed, was there's a very scarce center market and these prices are going to be crazy. So yeah, the sticker shock may be there, but like just wait and see what comes up in the next couple months. And then we see what comes up in the next couple months, and like, all right, Danny, you had a point. I have to grant that he had a point.
No, 100%. And that's the way, like, I don't love this deal still. Didn't love it that day. Don't love it right now. But you look around the league and go, I don't know, man, JG Pageau for basically the same price. I think I'd rather have Dvorak, especially considering like the way he fit in, the way he is very much a part of, like, even as an older guy, very much a part of like the friend group. I appreciate that. Yeah. So it's hard to look around the league and go, oh, Danny, what are you doing? When it's like, yeah, man, Nick Schmaltz for $8 million average annual value.
Yeah, and another thing too, because I think this is, I remember back when the very first year of the Kevin Hayes deal, and I said, Kevin Hayes is not the Flyers' best player, but he may be their most important player because of the downstream impact he has on the lineup, because of his role as kind of like social chair, you know, where he's the guy running the group texts, group chats, whatever you want to call it. Dvorak, number one, I think does kind of function in a similar role. Number two, like, his production last year is basically Kevin Hayes' production.
Yeah.
And even accounting for dramatic cap inflation, his deal is significantly less onerous than the Kevin Hayes deal was.
Kevin Hayes was like over $7 million.
And that was in 2019.
Yeah, in the flat cap world.
Yeah.
Like,
before we knew it was going to be a flat cap world, but still way, way, way lower.
Even when it was going up, it was like, yeah, it went up 1% this year.
Yeah.
Like, and then it was just like, ain't going up.
Yeah, and then
like,
it was not going up for like 3 straight years.
Price of the brick ain't going up.
It's not going up. But Dvorak, you know, I hate to say like it's kind of a redo, but like maybe Dvorak can be like what Kevin Hayes should have been.
Okay. All right, man. That injury just sucked.
Yeah.
I love freaking Kevin Hayes. All right, let's just run through Luke Glendening real fast. He turned 37 between games 5 and 6 of the Penn series. He joined the team as a waiver claim on trade deadline day after the Devils released him. He had 5 points in 18 games for the Flyers and won 57% of his faceoffs after getting released by the Devils, for whom in 52 games he put up no goals and 4 assists. He is now a pending unrestricted free agent. Nice depth addition that on deadline day, it was like, what? Why?
They added?
They claimed a 37-year-old on waivers? Like, for what reason?
And based on my conversation with Luke Glendening, he was just as surprised. It's like, the Flyers?
For what reason did
They're
we
like
do
3
this?
points ahead of us.
Yeah, and then, of course, he and Sean Couturier join up to make a really good fourth line for a few months. And, you know, he was the only right-handed center in the lineup for pretty much the entire season. I don't want to see him brought back, but a nice year. I don't even think it's necessary to attach a grade to him. Who cares?
Yeah.
But, like, nice year for Luke Glendening.
He exceeded all reasonable expectations.
5 points. Exceeded reasonable
played
expectations.
a not insignificant role on a team that exceeded all expectations, made the playoffs and won a round. If this is the end, and it very well could be for the Flyers and Luke Glendening, happy trails, Luke. Yeah. We appreciate you.
Really, really nice. 10 playoff games and 28 game stint. Hard to think of it going better after, like, you know, in 52 games, he had no goals and 4 assists for the Devils. All right, and then finally, Rodrigo Abels turned 30 in January, had 10 points in 42 games. He played 42 of the first 47 games, but then got injured against the Rangers in mid-January. That ended his season. He is also now a pending unrestricted free agent. He's decent in face-offs, played 10.5 minutes a night. I guess he's like a nice 13th forward or something, but I don't know. If you don't have another Abels in your system, you really need to reassess what you're doing in terms of your AHL depth.
Abels is a great dude, and if he is open to coming back as a, like, you are not guaranteed to make the roster, but we will give you a status as like a priority first call up if injuries strike, I'm cool with it. but he had a long look at the 4C spot. And while the point production for a 4C, not terrible,
not terrible,
pretty decent, more or less on pace for 20 points, that fourth line most nights that he centered got obliterated. And I'm not saying it was just him. Like, Garnet Hathaway had a terrible first half. Nick Couturier played a lot of games in the first half. But especially now that you have Sean Couturier having emerged as like he is the specialty 4C, I don't know if you really need eyeballs, and I don't know where he fits.
And like, while sure, Hathaway not very good, Nikita Grabenkin I think showed flashes, but all right, we put Sean Couturier. He's talent better than a fourth liner, or like brain better than a fourth.
Sure.
Like it's him and Luke Glendening, and they gave us a quality fourth line. I don't know, Abels. Like you probably should have done better than Luke Glendening at 37 years old. Yeah. So. That's probably that for him. I can't imagine he's coming back, but maybe he's a depth player or something, whatever. All right, let's hit them super chats. See, we're not at 100 likes yet. That's unacceptable. Get us to 100
likes. Get us to 100.
All right, K-Red with the first super chat. Hockey below the Mason-Dixon line was a mistake.
I don't share the hatred for Southern hockey. I enjoy it.
I think they've figured it out. Like, we were talking about the expansion draft prior to the show. And, like, Vegas and Seattle, obviously, I don't know if it was, like, super beneficial rule, but, like, one, Vegas just took advantage of everyone because they knew everyone else's team better than teams knew their own, apparently. And, like, that's on them. And, hey, you're only required to give up one. Well, what if we give you two? Like, oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, like, that's stupid. And, like, they learned, so, like, everyone learned for the Seattle draft. But, like, man, some of these pre-Vegas expansion teams, like, sorry, Nashville. Sorry we really screwed you with the team you had to pay us to get into the league to put together. Like, those teams had it rough in the beginning, I would say.
It's a fair point. But I do, like, as someone who travels to a lot of games, like, not every fan base in the South is good, but a lot of them are. Like, that tailgating scene around Carolina Hurricanes games, fantastic. It's very unique. Nashville very much leans into, like, this is very college football-ish in that arena. I think the Tampa scene has gotten so good. It's in my mind, one of the great places to go visit and go to a game as a visiting fan. You've got the great bar Hat Tricks right near there. Vinnick did such a good job of building up hockey as a culture there. One of the league's great owners of the last, like, 30, 40 years, I would say. Vegas, diehard. Dallas has great fans. So I think overall, I'm not saying every single time it's worked, but overall, I'm glad that the expansion south happened.
And, like, just for you, traveling. Like, how fun is going to Ottawa every February, Charlie?
Not the best.
I don't know. It's kind of nice being able to go to Dallas, I would guess. Yeah. All right. But I like the Southern teams. I think it's cool, like, adding that college football element, those places that are that. And then, like, hockey's kind of that niche family, like, more of a... Not the college football's niche, but, like, it is its own unique experience.
Yes.
And adding that to hockey, I think, makes hockey more fun. All right, J.E. weighs in. Says, if the Flyers go out for a 1C trade, I don't see them paying for it with all the players needed in the rebuild. Exhibit A is Robert Thomas. Let's say they try for Beniers. What is a reasonable price to pay to get him? Thanks.
Well, we've talked about this. I mean, to me, the starting point for Beniers' deal is Tippett.
Yeah.
That makes all the sense in the world because, number one, apparently they want to get better on the wing. Seattle is looking for wing help. They have a lot of centers they've drafted. They have a lot of centers on their roster already. That could be the starting point of a deal. Plus, Beniers brings high-end speed to the table. So if you're the Flyers and you're giving up your speed guy, at least you're getting back a guy who also brings it at a position probably of bigger need. That, to me, would make sense if the Flyers and Seattle ultimately did go down a Matty Beniers road.
All right, and then Francois Bialois. Nesbitt scores big boy points. Excellent at net front deflections and rebounds plus snarl. Dominant at forward face-offs. Yeah. Skating still stinks, but I've come around. And this is something that I have thought about, just in terms of how we assess prospects and their talent upside. We all remember, fans our age, remember, like, the I Dream of Druin Jonathan Drouin highlight tape.
Sure.
And like, yes, if you are as good as Connor McDavid, you can do that stuff in the NHL. If you are not, you won't. And if that's the only way you score, you're going to be an okay player like Drouin ultimately turned out to be, not worth, the second or third or whatever they got him at pick. There is something to be said for dudes who score that way, as Francois puts it, big boy points. Like, we just watched the playoffs. It's really hard to get to the middle of the ice. Yeah. If you can do that, you might have more value than the guy with the awesome highlight tape.
Again, the thing with Nesbitt is always going to be the skating.
Yeah,
I just go back to my scouting report of Nesbitt pre-draft last year, and basically what I wrote was I would really like this guy if he could skate. Everything else in his game, it's like, oh yeah, I like that. I like the net front, like the toughness, like the hands under pressure, his ability to make plays despite being checked. I like all this. You just can't skate. He's not good at anything when it comes to skating. The Flyers' bet is that as he builds up lower body strength, he will at least get to the point where he's passable at everything. And then boom, all those tools are going to be more and more obvious against high-end competition. We shall see if they are correct.
All right, and with that, that's all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers presented by ALLCITY this afternoon. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. By we, I mean Kelly and I. Charlie's like taking off or something. Who just takes off, Like, if you're going to, do it in the middle of the playoffs, first of all, dummy. It's just, these are the easy shows. All right, follow us on Twitter. Some people here will never let me live it down, but it happens. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. I am Bill. That is Charlie. Thank you to Bree for filling in today. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.